So hey guys, hey again. The last video I recorded was about my IVF journey, and I watched this video over and over again of myself, and I realized how tough it was. The way that I was speaking, my speech was slurred, and I've noticed that it takes time to heal, and everything is not going to work as fast as you want it to. And it took me a hard time to tell that story in my life. But I hope you guys appreciate it. Today I just wanted to come and talk about how things in my life has changed me and molded me into becoming the woman that I am now. So I just wanted to tell you, how I grew up, and what changed me from, when you grow up, you see different things, and you get out, you get to experience the world, you get out, you travel. I'm not saying everyone travel, but you get out, you travel, you see everything, money-wise, I'm going to say economical wise, just all sorts of things that my mom and my father didn't get to teach me, which I know if my father was still alive he would. He passed away from a stroke in 2004 when I was going to turn 16, so I was 15 when he passed away. It's just a lot of things that I have learned. I mean, coming from the place that I came from to now as a young woman, I'm not going to say I'm a woman fully. I mean, it's some things that I've been through in my life, but I'm not going to sit there and just say, oh, I'm a woman now. I'm not. I still have growing up to do. I think everyone still have growing up to do. I can say where I came from, some people will consider it the ghetto, the hood, whatever you want to call it, whatever your slang is for, low budget, house authority, or whatever like that you want to call it. But, when I was growing up, I didn't really see color. I wasn't taught to hate. It was none of that in my household. It wasn't no big discussion of, what race you are, and, nobody never name called, really, we just didn't have, we may had that talk, but maybe I just sort of missed out on it. And I just wanted to, touch on a subject that everyone is talking about nowadays in America. Just your race. I just want to talk about that. The reason why I say my family didn't really talk about it, because one of my cousins is actually married to a white man, and then my other cousin is married to a white woman, and I think our family is just accepting of things. And excuse me, I gotta get really used to talking to this camera, because sometimes it feels so awkward just looking into a camera and just letting go your feelings and with nobody to say anything back. It just it's just kind of weird sitting in here talking to myself. But I guess the more I practice, the more I can actually flow with it. So I just wanted to talk about the race issue in America, and the more I grew up and I seen that it was so divided, the more I wanted to learn about my culture. Where did I come from? I know my roots lead back to slavery, of course, but I just wanted to, where I come from, how do I feel about it? And one point in time, I felt very jealous of Africans, because I felt like they knew where they belonged. They had their heritage. They had their dialect that they can speak. And say for instance, okay, I'm just gonna go off to the left right fast. I used to work with this African lady, and they would be so rude to American. I don't know, like, because I always would say, at the end of the day, if racism, I mean, if we were still on the plantation, you wouldn't be called African, and I wouldn't be called African American. It would be no such terms. We all will be getting beat right now. So I just don't feel like, I just feel like it's just a disconnect. Like, you should want to come over here and talk to the American people that basically are colored, that been, you know, enslaved. Because I feel like you have you have that richness and culture that we don't. And sometimes I feel like I look back and see, you know, our foods and stuff, and then I look up, you know, in Africa, and we are so similar, it doesn't make no sense. And I just feel like everybody is so distant from each other. They really can't, they like, the culture, like the culture is what is dividing us, but it's really not, because some of the things that we bought from over Africa, we still have it, but it's so tweaked and twisted because of, you know, everybody mingling and mixing, and, you know, Irish, the English, you know, everybody, Italian, like it was so much going on back then when we were enslaved. I just feel like Americans can do a better part of trying to learn more from Africans. I'm not saying that, I mean, we both should share. I think that we should share, period. And as I, like, going back to the subject, as I got older and I started to notice the divide in the country, like right now the town that I'm staying in is Gloucester City, which was known from, well, which was notorious in, you know, New Jersey, for, you know, to be a racist town. At one point, my dad and, you know, my mom and my cousins would tell us stories about the place that I'm living in now. They would say that they will block off the roads that lead into Gloucester City. They would, you know, in Fairview. Well, I am from Camden, and if you look up Camden is supposed to be possibly the dangerous city. So forgive me. I said I gotta get used to this now. City, and you know, the 5 most dangerous city, I guess, on the East Coast. So, which I don't believe, because every city has a ghetto, or, you know, a hood, or whatever, a slum, whatever they want to call it, because people have different opinions and different terms on it. But they failed to realize when their parents came over here, they were actually in the slums. But the thing is, like, from reading things and, you know, trying to educate myself and about, you know, Black history, because some things I didn't learn in school, I had no idea. I'm just finding things out for myself. So, like, from being oppressed and stuff like that, you can't, you can't wake people up that don't want to be woken up. So that is my term for my Black community. You cannot wake people up if they don't want to be woken up. They have to teach themselves. And if they don't want to teach themselves until they're ready to be taught and learn something different from what the streets and everything else is telling them, then you can't do nothing about it. I just feel like this whole police killing and, you know, everything that's been going on, I feel like if you don't see that as a wake-up call, or, and I'm not saying every police officer is racist, because I know how people are going to feel and leave comments, because, I mean, I'm not big like that, like on YouTube, and I'm not trying to make these videos to be big, but I'm just trying to make my point. But it's people out there that just, you know, write terrible things, even on the big people YouTuber pages. They write terrible things, which, you know, I don't get. I really don't. But anyway, like I was saying, like, you know, until people want to be woken up, then that's all we can do about it. We can sit here and put out more information. I mean, put out information as much as we want to. Excuse me. But, you know, it takes time. And I learned that growing up. Like, I learned that it's still a racial divide, to the point where people wouldn't even want to touch my hand. Like, I realized this when I was about 18, and I'm not going to say where I was at, but I'm just going to say that I put some money down on the counter, and, well, I didn't put it on the counter. I handed them the money, and basically she put it on the counter, and, you know, with my change and everything. So I hate the feeling that you don't feel like you should touch my skin, or if somebody's giving me a pen and our hands rub, it's like, oh my God, it's just your color gonna rub off. It's 2015, and I understand when you grow up, generations pass stuff down to generations. If you cannot like somebody for the color of their skin, it has to be something logically wrong, physically wrong, mentally wrong with the thought. I just don't get it. And to hear and go back to what, the 1960s, to hear how they thought, and I'm just thinking, like, their thought process, and then they passing it down a generation. So that might have been their great grandparents, and then your grandparents now, and then, you know, and you passing it along, and they becoming, and, you know, their moms are becoming, you know, grandparents, and what their grandparents, what her mom told her, it's just like getting passed down. Like, how could you be so ignorant? How could I can't understand these things, because I have an interracial mixed family, like, and I can't grasp it. Like, I can't work it, and, like, it's the same, like, it's people out here that's making the same money that you are making, that want to take care of their homes, that want to be successful. You are in the same tax bracket. You spend the same money that she does. And one thing I hated to hear when I kept watching the videos was, black people are lazy. Lazy kept getting on my nerves, because one thing I found out about reading about Black history was that we were free labor. I can't speak today. Lord, help me bless my tongue, because the words are not coming out right. But we were free laborers. So you're telling me the White House was built by black people? Everything was built mostly by black people, because the whites didn't do it. Why? Because they were our master. So how would we be so lazy? We worked about 500 to 600 years building this nation. I'm just gonna say, white people did the paperwork, but we did the job. And I'm not going to say everyone owned slaves. I'm not going to say that. But yet y'all were still biased. And that's what I can't understand with the whole Confederate flag thing. Like, y'all lost the war to keep slaves and treat somebody lower than you. And I can't understand what makes you think blue eyes and blonde hair is better than black hair, blue eyes, and brown hair. Like, black people are made up of so many interesting things. It does not make sense. You're not the only one that's beautiful. It's Indians that's beautiful. Latino people that's beautiful. Dominican people that's beautiful. And guess what? Somewhere down that line, black people fits in. So I don't get it. Every shade of color is beautiful. And that's what I couldn't get about the 60 videos. The era of the 60 videos. I couldn't grasp. But I just hate to see that it's 2015 and this is still going on. And sometimes you just can't talk to people even if their mindset is that way. So I don't know. But that's all my day today rant is for. That's all I had to say, and I had to get off my chest. Another thing, I am super duper happy. My appointment for talking to my doctor about my blood work going in, I am so happy. TMI. Also,